to our second workshop, Job Searching Efforts with full S. As you may know, having a job can bring people a feeling of independence, purpose, confidence, and new opportunities. Today, Gull is going to share his experience with job searching, resumes, applications, interviews, and how to stay motivated through the process. So let's give a warm welcome to Gull. He is kind of circulating the right one. Yeah.
So I'm Gull, and so these are what all my slides are going to be about, like job searching websites, my work history, my tracking chart, my resume draft, and my resume layouts, and the do's and don'ts. You can go on the next and then say like, hi, my name is Schneider. Like I gave a brief explanation of my name, like this means a seagull, but it's not. It's originally an Israeli name which means wave, like a wave in the ocean. What really got my start into that, since I grew up here in the city of San Francisco, I grew up living at the beach. My dad used to always jog on the beach and look at the waves, so he just named me after the waves. But then he spelled it in the seagull in English. But I would also like to say, like, I am also formerly a student at City College of San Francisco. I have 2 associate degrees in graphic design and production, and I also have like 3 kinds of certificates, like in software testing, digital printing and publishing, and 3D printing. And so for this presentation, I'm going to talk about like what the time and the effort that I've been taking to apply for jobs each time, because I just recently got a new job like 5 weeks ago after not working for about 3 years. So I'm glad I finally got a job again, and I can show how I've been taking the efforts and the time to really been applying to as many jobs as I could. So these are all the websites that I've been using to apply for jobs. Like I've been using like Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Monster, Simply Hired, Craigslist, and ZipRecruiter. The next one. So I personally like to use Indeed.com the best personally, and I like to show like how to use it. I think just put like go back. See, I put a little link where I can click onto maybe you just click on that link. So
I don't see a link.
I don't know if it's going to show to me, but we'll get that later.
To a website or the end?
You could, maybe later. And so this is a spreadsheet that I've been using as I've been applying to jobs, because since I spent 3 years working on this spreadsheet, and I just make sure to track how many jobs I've been applying to each day, so then that way you can know which jobs you're applying to, and make sure not to apply to the same job over and over again. It's always good to know the date you applied, the company name, the position title, and also the contact information and the location and which source did you use to apply for the job. And it's also good to know the pay wage and the status, whether it's a full-time or a part-time job, and the weekly schedule. That's what I've been tracking on this job, on this chart. Thanks. So this is my work history. These are pretty much all the companies I've worked for between now and the past. So I just put each logo for each company I've worked for. I wrote what was my position title, and the location, and the time gap when it took place. And you go next.
Yeah.
And then in terms of making a resume, you can do it either through Google Docs or Microsoft Word. I mean, this one was done through Google Docs, when you put your work history experience and your education history, and then the links to different websites you use and stuff. And then I used a website called TealHQ to make a layout out of it. So if you move to the next slide, so after using TealHQ, this is what my resume ends up looking like. So it looks a lot fancier than when you do it through Word or Google Doc. And so then if you go to the next slide, so this is where I track down my name and my contact information. And I put in the front side my work history and experience, my skill, my education history, and then we'll link to different projects that I've done, plus my volunteering experience as well. And so these are the do's and the don'ts. So in terms of what you should include on your resume, you can definitely put your name, your contact information, like your phone and your email, and it includes some works that you, example of your work and your projects that you make portfolios or websites, and put your highest level of education, and example for like a high school diploma or any certificates you got, or associate degrees or bachelor's degrees or any kind of college degree. But so what you should not do as you put on your resume is to oh yeah, I forgot. And also to do is in terms of all the jobs you put in your resume, maybe try to put jobs you worked for at least 3 months. Otherwise, if there's any job where you worked less than 3 months, should not be put on your resume. I was also told to not put your high school graduation year on your resume unless you recently graduated high school or unless it's your highest level of education. Because even if you're like an adult or a senior, but you never went to college after high school, you only went to high school, maybe then you could put your high school graduation year. And Thea, there's something I wanted to show earlier. I couldn't show it, but remember,
Were you able to click on the link?
In terms of using Indeed, I couldn't find a link for that, or showing how I used my Google spreadsheets with the job searching.
Okay.
I remember that's something you figured out, but I couldn't figure it
You want to
out.
connect about it?
Yeah, please do.
Wondering if we could go to Indeed.com and Gull can show his way around there. Yeah. Are
Exactly.
you ready to do that, Gull? That's what we talked.
Yes, please.
And I'll also work on the link. And the link.
Okay, so it's an example if I could find these kind of jobs on Indeed. So give me an example for what kind of job you're looking for.
I'm looking for a guest services job.
Guest service.
Yes.
And then are those guest services, guest service agent, and you're looking for a job in San Francisco?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do search. And then, so here's where it shows the guest service jobs, which list of them that are currently hiring would be in the near San Francisco or some in the Bay Area. But make sure that it's a very convenient location for you. And so you said you want to do a job as an analyst service.
Yeah, one I know is what's it called? Kennel.
That's too.
And you're looking for a job where in San Francisco?
In Marin County.
Okay, just right. You're listening T. In search. Okay, so here's show a list of which ones that are currently hired and that will get you close to the local area.
Yeah, but I'm never.
As just something else that could get me to find so I know somebody says they want to work for In and Out, so you said that.
What was hers?
Corey, you said you want to work for In and Out?
Yeah.
Okay, and what city?
The other city.
Okay. So what city? You In and Out Burger. Okay, well, they say that they said they have some in Sunnyvale or San Francisco as well. But then they could be convenient locations for you and inviting, as long as you have reliable transportation. Something else you have figured out, instead of using Indeed or anything, the spreadsheet I used. Albany. Fucking Covenant's Trust. I have this.
Okay. Anything that you said.
Okay, but let's skip figure because I want to show the spreadsheet that I
Yes, she just added a link. I can pull that
Okay.
for your spreadsheet. Yeah.
Yeah, unless I can open that through my Google Docs, cut it down somewhere, so it's slide.
Try to get them. We don't get one?
I stay.
So yeah, so this is where so this is an example of how I used it. So you see these couple of dates I applied to, I write the date of application, the company name, the position titles, and the best contact way to contact the company, and the location, which city and state does it take place. It could be either on site, sometimes I write remote, if there's a remote job, or which source did I use, which website did I use to apply for the job, and then the date if I was ever interviewed for the job, and then the company website, and then status, whether it's full-time or part-time, and the wage. Some of them might indicate like how much you're going to get paid per hour, how much you're going to get paid per year, and then the weekly schedule is like what it's like a Monday, Friday job, so it's much time, which time. So that's pretty much everything I do. So, and Theo was also recommending sometimes you might want to get a spreadsheet like this because even though it's not really necessary, but I think that could definitely help you a lot. But
You want to go back to your presentation? Yeah. What are some of the challenges that you faced in employment or if you're willing to share?
because sometimes I might apply to a job that I know doesn't relate to me, but I just apply to anywhere that's hiring. Sometimes it might, especially if you use Indeed.com, sometimes there's a button that says you can easily apply. You just click on that one button and you automatically apply for the jobs. And then sometimes it might be posted on Indeed, but you don't use Indeed to apply to the job, to the job itself. They give you the website where you can apply to the company website. Sometimes I might apply to jobs that are just too advanced for me, that are a little bit beyond my level. Some of them might require bachelor degrees. Like my highest level of education is associates. And I used to be very picky about jobs. Like I used to I didn't want to apply to jobs that relate to my degrees or certificates, but if you don't really have experience related to the field, then they're less likely going to hire you. So, so I haven't really applied. But as long as you're unemployed and you want to apply to a job, just make sure you apply to anywhere that's hiring, even if it relates to you or not. So as long as you have some experience on your resume, and after doing one job, try to stay there as long as you could, and then once you move on to your next job, I mean, the next job is more likely to hire you if you worked in your previous job for over a year, and they want to see that you have some experience. Like, I can give an example. Like, in 2011, I got a certificate in digital printing. So even before I fully accomplished the certificate, I was looking for a job that's more related to like print related. For example, like Kinko's or FedEx Office. I was hoping to work somewhere like that even before I completed the certificate, and then even after, but then, because they said, like, if you work somewhere like Kinko's, you don't really need to be certified, you just apply for the FedEx website, that's what I was told, and then but then even after I accomplished the certificate, I can't remember whether it was either Kinko's or some other printing company, they said they couldn't hire me because I needed to have experience with customers, so then I learned how to be less picky about jobs and just apply to anywhere that's hiring, and then, but then after I lived in Israel for about 5 months and I volunteered on a kibbutz. Are you familiar with kibbutz?
I went to Berkeley, Israel.
Yeah, like a farm village. Yeah, so I volunteered on one for 5 months, and then after I finished the 5-month program, I helped to get a job, and then I started working at FedEx. So, but not FedEx Kinko itself. I worked for FedEx Ground, which was the warehouse, and I worked there for about a year and a half. So but in terms of all the jobs I put on my resume, I only make sure to put my long-term jobs, like jobs where I really managed to stay for a long time, or maybe 3 months minimum, because that's something I've worked on with the council before. Like any job you have on your resume or your LinkedIn, just make sure to have jobs where you work for at least 3 months. Otherwise, if there's any job where you work less than 3 months, because there were times I even got hired for jobs, but then I got terminated after like 2 or 3 weeks, or even 2 or 3 days. So those kind of jobs should not be put on the resume.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a seasonal job, because for one of the jobs on my resume, like C's Candies, I was there for 3 weeks, but I didn't leave because I got terminated or got fired. I didn't leave because I resigned. I was only there just because it was a seasonal job and it was just for a holiday season.
Can I reflect back a couple of things that I'm hearing from you?
Yeah.
I'm hearing the recommendation to apply to jobs that you may or may not have a skill set for in order to gain experience. I'm hearing the recommendation to only put on your resume jobs that have been longer than a year.
Yeah, or even 3 to 6 months. I mean, that could still be applicable.
Yeah.
Because some jobs, like, if I was there for like 6 months or 11 months or something. So I think that could be what's putting on a resume.
Yeah.
But if there's any job where I was only there for just 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 days with something I've experienced, makes those kinds of things put on my resume.
I see. I think there's a question from the audience.
Yeah,
So program you did in Israel, was that like a Wolfaway program where they cover your awesome living and choice?
Well, it was for a program called Masa, which means journey. Even though I first wanted to do it at a tech company, but that required a bachelor's degree. At that time, I didn't even have an associate. So, since it's more like farm and agriculture volunteering, that didn't really require any level of education. You would probably have to be at least 18 years old.
But did they pay for your airfare and for probably your cost of living or insurance?
Yeah, I think they provided all the utilities.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
One more thing. I'm curious, maybe your rate first to you about your experience at City College, because that sounds like I have 3 associates myself from college already and working on the fourth. I kind of like collect them. But it sounds like City College has some great programs that maybe other community colleges don't.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's one certificate I got from City College, and then there's 2 of them I got from 2 other programs.
Right. I know City College has a lot of like more technical, like kind of building kind of stuff, which is something I'm interested in as well.
Depends if it really relates to what you're trying to major in.
Yeah.
And what kind of career you want in the near future.
Yes.
I have a couple questions for the crowd. I'm curious, what are some of the employment skills that people in this room have that they might like to bring to the employer? Or some things about yourself that you're proud of? Yeah.
I do digital media, performing arts, writing, literature, speech, performing arts, podcaster, writer, author, videographer, filmmaker, songwriter, screenwriter, a little bit of everything. I did dog walking and dog boarding. I worked for Amazon for a while and helped with the warehouse and logistics and shipping and handling. And so I got a lot of different skills in all different areas.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it sounds like you have quite a few different skills that could be applied to different types of employments and situations. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else want to share some skills you have that you're proud of?
Shane?
Yeah.
I do. My name is John, so I do hardworking and punctual. Like you want to be on time for the job.
Hardworking and punctual.
I'm proud of the same business. We just talked about everyone needing clients to the art, and I was a client to the art for quite some time. So something I'm proud of is like, especially if I use Indeed and I get job interviews and stuff, they're like applied by myself. Just in terms of all the jobs I have on my resume, only 2 of them I was referred by the art. Every other jobs are jobs that I simply just found on my own. Because sometimes I find it pretty disappointing about the art, and then their job is supposed to help their clients apply for jobs and then assist them on job interviews. But if there's ever a job I apply to by myself and get called for an interview, they didn't really support me, or even if I applied to a job that was like a little bit out of San Francisco, they didn't support me. They said, I'm going to support interviews if I apply with them. It has to be jobs in San Francisco. But if it's in the middle to find other jobs in other cities, and I go to the Upper Red, the Upper Alameda, and the Upper San Mateo. Some people are picky about jobs. I mean, I'm not personally. And then just like what Matthew was sharing earlier, like not everybody with a disability might have reliable transportation because some of them just can't drive, so they might either need somebody to drive for them, or they might have to take public transportation. Thankfully, I can, even though it might be pretty rare for somebody who's autistic or has a disability, but my job that I just started 5 weeks ago, it's all the way in Newark, so it might take about an hour to drive there or an hour and a half. So sometimes, say if my work starts at 3:30, and if I really want to make sure I get to work on time, it's probably best to leave the city a little bit before 2, so that way I could make it on time, or maybe if they get 15 minutes early. And maybe something else I should have had to do is notes, when you're applying, but even when you're hired for a job, your time you space to work, when you read the clock in, maybe you're supposed to clock in to do 5 minutes early, the balls of no more than 5 minutes early if you're showing up early. And I still put on, and complete them to apply for jobs. Sometimes they might ask for your level of education, and might say you might need to must have at least a high school diploma or bachelor's, associates, or even if no level of education, then they might need to at least be 18 at the youngest.
Thanks for sharing that experience.
I have a question for Gull. What's the best What's your best job title you've done so far?
Good question. Well, I've got lots of them. Well, I'm proud of the one that I currently have right now, which is like being a scanning technician. But I'm also proud to be like a document specialist in a way, and independent contractor, especially when you're like when you can be your own boss and you can like choose your own hours and stuff. Yeah.
Do you have like an eventual career sort of goal, like just an eventual field like you want to be in?
Yeah, definitely. Since I have 2 associate degrees and 3 certificates, like I really hope to find a job that might relate to at least one of those fields. Like, in terms of something creative like graphic design, print production, also like digital printing, 3D printing, and software testing, because these are all stuff I'm certified in. Yeah. Have any other questions?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, because I have people from my program, tours that are looking for work, and
Okay.
yeah, so like we, like I participated in the GS class on a Friday, and the to work director of workforce project, she talks to so many people, because there's a couple of my clients that I know that are looking, so she's helping out.
Okay, then do you help out in any way?
I'm like mentoring, and she's helping with with those people to get you do. But there was me and one other client have worked for business. We were both mentoring on Fridays. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm hearing that there's some programs here in the city and other counties to help with job searching, some mentorship opportunities.
Like tool is one of them.
Yeah, tool work, absolutely.
Yeah, because sometimes, like, in general, in order to really get what you want, you really need to make it happen yourself. Because, in order to really be satisfied, you feel like, whose job is to make it happen for you.
Sounds like a lot of self-advocacy.
Exactly. So that's why, in order to find the jobs I like in particular, that's why I usually take this time to apply by myself. I wasn't to rely on others. In terms of also going back to being a client of the art and having 2 jobs on my resume where I get referred by them, Amazon, I was there for like 4 years, and I also worked for a printing company, just especially after getting a certificate in 3D print, not only digital printing, like there's a called PVC imaging, also working with from Freehab, I have a certificate in digital printing and associates of print production graphic design. She referred me to a 3D printing internship. I just did like 12 weeks of thing. Should have given back, so that's something else you want to look into it, sure, as well.
Absolutely. I have one other question for the audience, is that okay?
Go ahead.
I'm curious for people here, what would you want an employer to know about being a person with a disability that would be supportive for you?
I have one.
Yeah, go for it.
Actually, I've been at my job 26 years, Petco, and I'm part-time. I work one day from 5 in the morning until 8. And I've been there for a long time. I got that job in 2000. July 18, 2000. It's going to be 26 years. Yeah, I'm only 52 years old. I have a disability too. I have a mild learning disability. I graduated from the art. I went to several jobs. I had one job at a theater, movie theater, at Galaxy Theater. And then I went from there to Old West Recording Studio. And I was there for, 15 years. And everything, and I was full time. I was from 9 until 4 p.m. every day and all that. And then from there, I decided I wanted something different. So I had WorkLinks help me get Petco, but I asked my teacher too, and that's why I went presentable. I dressed neat. I didn't dress flashy or nothing like that. I looked good, so I took care of myself. I actually gave my resume to my boss, Dan at the time, and boom, he hired me, and I worked with the animals, with the birds, small animals, chinchillas, parakeets, whatever. I worked with a macaw named Pepe at the time, and he was a red and blue macaw. And I would say, "Good morning, Pepe," and he would say my name. I worked with a gray bird, a white one, I love them. I get turns working with them and stuff. They train me for that. One of the snakes got out. My coworker goes, "Can you help me find the snake?" I go, "Oh, sure." And he brought out the little fence at the time. And I said, "Why? You're afraid of snakes?" And she goes, "Yes, yes, yes, I'm afraid of snakes." I just looked for him, saw him crawling up the little thing. I grabbed him and everything. It was a plum snake. And I just grabbed him. I spoke the snake to him. Said I calmed it down. Put him back in this little area. I miss the animals. My aunt has dogs. I have hamsters. And I love my jobs and everything. I'm gonna be there for a long time. And if you go to, like, say, a pet store or any place, you have to be presentable, you have to have the right stuff. I graduated from my middle school, got a diploma, got McAteers, and Johns College, 3 schools. My adult college, my regular high school, and my middle school. I finished all of that. Straight A student, special education, so what? I used to get teased. They would tease me about my disability because it's part of who I am, my learning. Yeah, so what? I was teased and teased and teased. And then when I came here, that's when me and my best friend got together and everything. And he was happy when I told him that my sister was having a kid. He almost did a backflip. I go, "David, don't do a backflip. You have cerebral palsy." He was so happy. He was jumping for joy and everything. And
Thank you so much for sharing some of your experience and that maybe growing up you had some really challenging experiences.
I was in so many schools, 5 schools, and I finished all of it.
What a huge accomplishment. And it sounds like now you have a job that you feel really connected with and proud of.
Yeah, I
That's
get
an
paid
inspiration for
$100.
all of us.
I get $100. Plus I'm getting back taxes and this stuff. And I found out from my aunt, I'm actually getting 2 big checks, a state and a federal check, for a lot of money.
Okay. You see that? Part of wanting a job is getting paid. That's real.
Yeah.
I have a question. You don't have to answer, but do you get SSI as well?
Yes, I do. I get SSI, SSD, and SSA. I get 3 of those.
Gull, we should have a question for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the Department of Rehabilitation. So we were in the program, but you mentioned internship. So how do you ask about internship? Because right now they're looking for jobs, but we don't have experience, and we want to build up experience. And I think that's one way of doing it. How did you go about getting that support?
Like, because after working with one particular counselor, I don't know if you know her name is Rose Ashford. Okay, because she's somebody I worked with personally, and we talked about all my work education history and stuff, and what job I'm really looking for in the future. So I told her about what kind of degrees and certificates that I've accomplished, so that she found something that might have some similarity to it. And it might not always be exactly the same, but it might have some relevance. And then it was just 12 weeks of training, and I have a certificate out of that.
Are there other experiences that people have when having jobs where you shared about your disability and that was something that was supported or accommodated by a boss or an employer that felt supportive to you? Yeah, Matthew and then
I had a very mixed experience with the camp Via West with the building ad, because they were very accommodating of my disability. But the work was very challenging. Eventually I was just like, because I couldn't do the work. And that's hard one flying position. You're doing stuff because I remember I can't work the job. I did let them know about all my challenges, and I think they were very understanding of that. But eventually they had me through their thing. And yeah, it was just, I think part of it again is that I didn't really know what I was getting into. It wasn't as obvious. Even though we did get training and stuff, eventually. It's just, I mean, being at ESG, it just what it was. But people with some very severe physical and intellectual disabilities is very challenging and often requires training that also you won't have. So you basically have to do kind of almost partially there's work as you compete usually to people, you know, submit out in wheelchairs. You have to do so you have to know some behavioral training stuff. And so yeah, I have a lot of challenging work, especially at Europe. Because I was, I'm gonna say, it was 23 or 24 at the time. Especially your young person, you know, it's a lot to handle.
Thanks for sharing. I'm hearing that sometimes you don't know what a job is going to really take until you do it.
Yeah.
And it might not be the right fit for you.
Right, and I learned that particular thing was not right fit for me, but it was a very welcoming community. Unfortunately, there was a lot of disarray. I can't even see stuff that was going on, but I think they tried the best with them.
Thanks for sharing some of your experience of accommodation as you requested about who you are and how you work. And I'm sorry, I can't see your age well. Do you want to say that? Yeah. Did you want to add to that conversation?
Yeah, when I started working for Amazon, it was very challenging at first. So we had to do a lot of big rigs, and we had to do lots of heavy lifting and dealing with heavy machinery. And I tried to explain to them that I was disabled, but they didn't really mind it at all too much when I first started. So I had to unload, because they wanted me to unload 22 big rigs from 3 a.m. all the way to 8 o'clock at night time. And so I tried, I can't do it for 3 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night. So I ended up going from 8:30 a.m. to 9 o'clock, and I was only to this unload 2 big rigs. It was too heavy, too much work. And me having my cerebral palsy made me a high risk person to do the job. So I ended up working in a store where I can unload lightweight stuff like bread and toys and vegetables and get it ready to get prepared for delivery through the regular delivery cars. And I advocated for myself, and I was able to get my same pay money, and it got way better. And then I moved on to do dog boarding and dog walking, and that was a really good job. And I did both of those at the same time while navigating school. And I do my performing arts, and I also used the money to pay for my living and support myself, because I like to be independent and take care of myself. And I also had to learn how to navigate the work life of being cultural and Jewish. And so I had to learn how to balance that, and did it for 5 years.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that experience, Saida. I'm hearing a lot of self-advocacy about what was working for you or not was working for you with jobs. Some boundaries maybe you set with your employer of like, hey, this is too much for me, or I need something to change about my hours or the kind of work that I'm doing. Is that possible? I'm also hearing that you changed jobs when that was the right time for you. And also that your choices around work kind of were shared with your values, the things that you wanted for yourself about being independent, and yeah, who you are as a person. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, Corey is back.
When I got discriminated, they didn't give my paychecks at Burger King because I had a disability, and they wouldn't even let me do the French fry. I never got my paycheck.
And
Thanks for sharing, Corey. I'm hearing that you experienced some discrimination at work.
Yeah, they didn't give me my paychecks.
Yeah, so some unfair employment practices and some injustices you experienced.
Yeah.
Do you want to share more about any of the ways that you advocated for yourself or had conversations when that experience was happening, or the ways that you pursue what you deserved?
okay.
No, I had help, I know that.
You got help. Yeah. So if there's ever something that's confusing or unjust that happens in a workplace, getting help is a really, really great idea. There are people who can help navigate systems and companies sometimes that are designed to really listen and hear what our needs are and the things that are aligned with our rights. Yeah, thanks for that experience, Corey.
Some people may need to go to coach on jobs with coaches. Some people might need to go at least to rely on coaches. So sometimes I felt like I needed to. Sometimes I felt like I didn't.
Yeah.
But I think it's always good to see what you can do by yourself, and it's always okay to make mistakes sometimes. But but many of them are not there to help you, or the doctors are not there to help you. And you see there's a coworker that could be there to help you.
Take a real stick.
Yeah, asking for help with trusted people in your life.
Yeah.
That actually happened with me at Petco when I first worked there in the shop. I had my coworkers help me. My two friends actually became like brothers. My friend Ian, my friend Kareem. They were like my brothers, and my boss, he was like a kind of father figure for me and stuff. And then I got used to more and more. And then my other boss, Emmanuel, he was like family and stuff, like a big brother to me. Really, I loved my job, and the first thing I found out from my boss, Dan, when I got interviewed by him and stuff, he said, okay, this and this, looked at my resume from old West Recording Studios. He goes, be on time, boom. I was on time, we had meetings, they gave us snacks, they did everything for us. They like, do you need anything and stuff? I asked for time off, I asked for time. They even gave me time to do my vacations and stuff if I wanted to go on vacation with my family and stuff. And they're like, okay, tell us what date, tell us I'm going to Yellowstone. And I asked my boss when to actually, my boss, I asked him and my supervisors if I could take the 9th of July, and he said, yeah, sure. They'll get someone else to like take my spot when he's gone. And
Thanks for sharing. I'm hearing that you are in a really respectful workplace right now.
oh yeah,
And that
they
you have
love me
met
as
a lot.
family.
Yeah, you've met a lot of people that you're really close to
Oh,
through your
yeah.
work experiences. We're at time, so I just want to thank you, Gull, for sharing your practical tools and honest experiences with us. Gull also offered to share the tracking spreadsheet, I think.
I did that already.
Okay, great. That's in the event guide if you want to take a picture of the QR code on the event guide for today. That's something that you might like to use for your own job searching. We hope that you're interested in looking for a job or in a new job, that this info that Gull shared today is helpful and supportive to you. And let's give a round of applause for that.